Lights on, mics on. Tonight on the EMBN show, we have got e-biking going big on the island of Tahiti. Hub motors versus mid-drive motors. What are you riding? And we've been spotting pros riding e-bikes all around the globe.
So in a moment, we'll be getting into an in-depth discussion about the different types of motor standards available on the market. But first, let's take a spin around the globe, see what's been happening in the world of e-mountain bikes.
Yes, totally. I mean, the pros have not been shy in sharing their e-bike action. We know that a lot of professional cross-country racers use e-bikes for training at a low heart rate. But meanwhile, down in Annecy in France, Scott Sharples.
Yeah, Aussie downhill rider. He's had some World Cup podiums in the past.
Yeah.
Great rider. He looks like he's having an amazing time on his e-bike in the snow.
Yeah. And meanwhile, over in Novato, California, in America, Mark Weir, pro rider for Cannondale, won the Downhill Classic many times. He sent me this clip in of him and what he says is his big, fat, lazy friends riding e-bikes in Marin County. Oh. Mark, I'm not sure your friends are going to appreciate that.
No, I bet they won't. What about this clip of Georgia Leslie? Remember she popped in last week's show? She's from Specialised. And I think Georgia's showing that the younger generation are using e-bikes to great effect, other than these like has-beens like Mark Weir and Scott Sharples.
The girl has got skills.
Talking about has-beens.
I'm not sure I would have said that, Steve, but Brendan Fairclough, the World Cup downhill racer, and
top World Cup downhill racer.
Oh yes,
top. Yeah, he's been riding his e-bike with his mates. So he's currently in South Africa, but we've seen some cool stuff.
He's
training.
These pros, we've known they've been using e-bikes in the background for ages, but seeing someone like Brendan sharing it on his stories on his Instagram, showing that they're thawing a little bit and they're starting to come round to e-bikes. I mean, it would be nice if they leave it up on the post so we could all see it for a bit more time.
So let's talk motor standards. We've got the most common, I suppose, mid-drive, the bikes that we ride like that. We've also got bolt-on options. We've also got the hub drive options available on the market.
And that's front and rear hub drives, actually.
Yeah, but more commonly rear, I presume now, especially for mountain bike style bikes. We're seeing commuter bikes, road bikes with hub drives as well.
Yeah, I mean, there are hub drives out there on the front, but check out these Benny bikes that are using a hub motor in the rear. Now, it is dated technology, hub drive motors, but they've got a lot better and a lot lighter over the years, and they're still relevant, especially in this use.
Did you know, actually, the weight of those bikes is 10 kilos?
Which is, isn't it? For a kid's bike.
I mean, most e-bikes today are about 20 kilos, but that's 10 kilos.
Yeah, and they look like having a great time on them. But imagine when we're talking about where the motor is on your bike, whether it's a hub drive, mid-drive, or hub drive at the front even, the weight of that bike, probably 6 kilos of that weight, is all in the rear wheel.
When we're talking about sort of development and integration, these mountain bike companies that are all going down the e-bike route are definitely going for the mid-motors, integrating batteries into frames. Motors are getting smaller. We saw that with the latest Bosch CX. Who knows what's coming next? But it's definitely, the bikes are looking like performance mountain bikes, not bolt-on things.
Yeah, and I think the weight is critical. The weight has to be centralised, so there's good distribution on the front and rear tyres. And it also allows the kind of bike manufacturers to make bikes that are kind of, the geometry is actually not too dissimilar to other mountain bikes, which means the handling is really good on them. So overall, kind of compact, ergonomics are really good in them, and they look a whole lot prettier, right?
I know you guys talked about the motorcycle manufacturers last week, but what I'm interested to see is, are their R&D companies really going to push forward these e-bikes? Because they're big companies, so they could actually help the overall design and development of e-bikes.
Absolutely. I think they're going to have to, or they're going to get left behind. But you know what? We really want to know what bikes you're using. I mean, are you one of those guys out there, or girls with a front drive hub motor? They do exist. What about the rear drive hub motor? Have you got a bolt-on like I use? Maybe?
Or a mid-drive?
Yeah. Or are you one of the masses with a mid-drive, which is what we think all the technology.
Poll time.
There's the poll up there. Let us know what bike you're using.
This week's bikes on the EMBN show. I do like the look of that new Cube Stereo Hybrid 160.
So really well integrated, as we've just been talking about. It's got the Bosch CX drive system, although it's really hard to tell. It's so well sat in there. You've got the battery in the downtube. You've got the SRAM EX drivetrain, so that's 8-speed. Yes, it looks very similar to the Stereo 160.
It looks pretty, doesn't it?
Enduro team
it's
makes.
a really beautiful looking bike. Great lines on it. Like I say, it's all just built into there. It's so nice. Steve, you've also been lucky enough to take a look at the old Fantic as well.
I have. This week on Tech of the Week, we have the Fantic e-bike. Now, Fantic is a company from the north of Venice. It's very recognisable in the off-road world because they had multiple world champions in the mid-80s. Anyhow, they decided to diversify the company because they saw e-bikes as a big part of their future. Here we have the Integra. I'm just going to go through the bike with you. A key part of the design here is a 29-inch front wheel, which comes with a 30mm rim. But on the back is a 35mm rim in 27.5 plus. Now, this obviously comes from their motorcycle background, but the key thing is they clearly recognise the grip on the rear is very important on this bike, and so hence the tyre. In terms of geometry, we're looking at a 65 head angle. I mean, it's pretty kind of basic geometry. Now, a key figure on this bike is the chainstay. It's 464mm, and that kind of puts it in the middle of, say, in between like a Specialized Canevo at 443 and a Lapierre Overvolt at 485. What it does, it gives a really good central balanced position on the bike when you're climbing. Now, I've just taken the bike for a spin, and the power on it is so smooth. It is so quiet. It's incredible. What's worth noting about Bros actually is that for every second car in the world that's manufactured, there will be a Bros motor on there somewhere, whether it be the windscreen wipers, the steering wheel, the seats. And that's a huge number. It's a big, serious motor company. Let's talk about the battery and the controls on this bike. The battery is a BMZ unit and it's 630 watts. It's fully integrated into the downtube and it's super neat, quickly detached as well. Up onto the controls, that's a BMZ2 and there's 3 power modes on it. It's also got a power meter, which is a very useful tool on an e-bike. In terms of apps, there's not one yet, but it could be coming quite soon. So there you go, the Fantic e-bike. Key characteristics are the 29 front wheel, 27 plus rear, the super quiet Bros motor, and I think the general kind of ergonomic, nice design of it. Let us know what you think in the comments below. We've been out and about over the last few weeks, and not so long ago we had the pleasure of meeting up with Roberto Vanassa down in San Remo. Now, Roberto is the Italian downhill coach, and he was actually a pioneer of uplift in that particular part of Italy.
Yeah, a lot of us factory riders back in the downhill days used to go and get lifts off Roberto, but I think also San Remo is the perfect area for an e-bike. Massive mountains, beautiful views, got the Mediterranean.
And this is what we chatted about when we met up with Roberto. We had a very special guest, Roberto Vanassa, who lives in a little village called San Romolo, north of San Remo. Now, Roberto, you were like a pioneer of downhill uplift in this area. You started off a business back in 1999, right?
Yes.
I mean, it is the ultimate place to ride a downhill bike, but it's also the ultimate place to ride an e-bike as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why do you ride an e-bike?
Because I did the surgery in my hips, and for 10 years I didn't ride, and then I start again. I tried the e-bike, and it was so funny, so good, so amazing, and I start again to ride. And now with the e-bike, I ride always I can. Also 3, 4 times, 5 times during the week.
Okay, so Roberto got a moustache. 160 mile travel, or?
Yes, 160.
Yeah.
Is 1 month that I have this bike.
Yeah.
Before I had another one, more all mountain. But this here is really better.
Hold on. So you're already a bit of an e-bike veteran, right? You've had several bikes. Several e-bikes.
Yeah.
Why did you choose 160 mile travel?
Because here in San Remo, the tracks are really steep, hard, technical, and with 160 is really good.
Yeah.
I think 180 is too much. I don't know. Honestly, I never used this, but with this bike, I think it's really good to pedal and to go down.
Okay, so you're a pro e-bike rider. Any kind of changes of components?
Yes, immediately. I put one fork Formula Silva.
Okay, Italian fork.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
The brakes is Formula 2, Cura.
Of course, yeah, more Italian. Yeah,
and we wait the Cura 2 4 piston.
Yeah, Campagnola cranks.
No, but why not? Maybe.
Yeah.
And now I tried this wheels, but I think it's better the downhill tires.
Yeah.
I like more.
Yeah.
And
Looks like you need a bit of tread on that back tyre, Roberto.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Because I did.
Okay, great. Roberto, thanks for joining us
Thank you
today.
very much.
Nice one.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Ciao.
Comments coming in from all around the world, like you say. Dirk Van Ziel. Last week we featured him on the show.
He's the riverbed man, right?
Now, Dirk is in a very rare group because he was also on the GMBN Bike Vault. So he's been on EMBN and GMBN.
Good work,
so I'm going to
Dirk.
mark his action. He's in South Africa.
Yeah.
Down there.
Yeah.
Was he not in the A team as well? The face.
I think he was. I think that's right. I think that might be Dirk Benedict. But anyway.
Do you know how far it is round there? Round the middle of the globe?
It's about 50
In meters.
centimetres.
Yeah, I think Neil's about right. 50 centimetres.
40 million metres.
40 million
It's a long
metres.
way.
Any other comments?
Yes, Rob Chastain's got a great comment actually. This says it's about motorcycle manufacturers. It says there's something full circle about e-bikes being made by motorcycle manufacturers, as Harley and Honda and the like all got their start by motorising bicycles, by mounting small motors on bicycles and growing from there.
That's true.
I don't see anything wrong with these creators of two-wheel vehicles expanding their offerings to e-bikes, and really, if they don't, they'll just be eating their competitors' dust.
Yeah, nice.
Good point.
That is a good comment. I like that. That's well thought out, that one. Yeah. Very good. We love hearing what you guys have got to say about what we're doing on the show and what you're doing with your bikes and where you're riding. And we're going to be keeping tabs on our EMBN Globe and marking where you guys have been taking the bikes out and having some fun.
Yeah. Wet or dry, north or southern hemisphere, send them in.
Or even the equator, but it'll be wet there probably.
Yeah. If Martin can find it.
What, the equator?
Yeah.
Oh, I know where that is. Okay, caption contest time. Last week's photo was an absolute banger of Steve jumping into some greenery. Looking good, Steve.
The
Looking
first
good.
submission comes from Ed, who says, Steve doing the doddy, as it's become known.
That is apt. That is actually, that's a good one. What about this one from...
Midlife biker, I'm bushed or I was following my sat-nav.
Oh, yeah.
Got sat nav
Yeah,
on your
what were
e-bike.
you doing? What were
I
you
think I've
doing?
ever used a sat-nav.
And Cornish Dronescape says, Steve loves a bit of bush. Ooh, I'm not sure about that one.
But the winner is Midlife Biker, and you win a lovely EMBN hat, like this very one.
Absolutely. And don't forget all of this stuff, the baseball tees, the tee itself, the hoodie and the hats in both colours are available in the store, and it's a nice way to support us. Get yourself an EMBN kit. Thanks for watching this week. It's been a great show. We've got a great week coming up. There's some great videos, including how to bunny up an e-bike.
Yeah, if you want to see the first part of that series of skills I really think you need on your e-bike, click over here for How to Manual.
Yeah, please keep sending your photographs and your videos in, whatever part of the world, north or south hemisphere, wet or dry or sunny.
Yeah.
Keep them coming. Love to hear from you.
Hit that little thumb down there, and don't forget to subscribe.
See ya.